Howdy everyone, Warstarcy here, and today we'll be looking at Outbuddies DX on Nintendo Switch. Outbuddies DX is a Metroidvania adventure game about an adventurer named Nikolai Bernstein that ends up in a shipwreck, regaining consciousness 36,000 feet under the sea in a sunken city, with a supernatural buddy unit that acts as a sort of partner. From there, you'll spend the game fighting strange creatures, acquiring weapons, upgrades, and uncovering an old civilization. Let's start with the game's atmosphere, which is great. You'll be switching between running around and gunning enemies on the ground and in the air, and swimming underwater and blasting swarms of killer fish and other enemies. The music is great and even intensifies when an enemy is actively after you, which is even more fitting when you're near death. I don't know if it was meant to peak up more when you're one hit away from death or not, but it always seemed to do so at just the right moments and add to the intensity of the fight. A weak side of the game is that a lot of the areas look very similar, as if it all seems to use the same sort of color palettes for the level designing. The game boasts to be non-linear, and it really delivers on that, as you'll be doing a lot of exploring, finding hidden paths, and backtracking in this huge map, even being able to miss some optional stuff or get things out of order. The problem with this for me was that after the few tutorials you run into in the beginning of the game that can be activated to tell you how to do something new, you're kinda just left on your own, which led to me getting easily lost. The level design, which I'll say is great, pretty much guides you to the first boss, and after some minor struggle, you finally defeat him, and then you can explore and try to find your way to the main, what I consider to be hub area, which is called the bridge zone, because besides killer fish in the water that you have to get rid of to restore power to a teleporter, it's a safe place filled with people wandering, some of whom you can talk to. It has a bunch of teleporters that lead you to various places, which it was at this point where I got lost. Like I said earlier, the most guidance you really got were some tutorial messages, but at that point I felt like I was just left guessing. I revisited the previous places I'd been and found nothing before fighting my way back to the hub area. After more wandering and running around the hub area before leaving again, I finally found somewhere new to go outside of it, but almost immediately got stuck on what to do again. There was this one room with a monitor over a huge spike gap that showed symbols of your partner, as well as some other things that kind of looked like health things, but provided no information on what it meant compared to the other previous tutorials that had a little L icon that you could interact with and it'd tell you how to do something. I messed around quite a bit and even had my fiance try to help, to no avail. There is local co-op, which is actually where she jumped in and tried to help, but I didn't find much use of it in the 10-ish, maybe 15 minutes we tried it. The second player can fly around, grab health, shoot some sort of thing that didn't seem to really do anything, and spawn blocks for you to jump on, only of course when it's not useful. If it's to try to reach an out of reach place, there will always be a laser box sort of thing that will almost instantly destroy the boxes and hurt you if you touch them. So yeah, after being stuck for a while, in the interest of time, I had no choice but to skip that section, which is something you can do, as it was just eating up too much time for just one room when I'd only defeated one of the multiple bosses in the game, whom by the way are all pretty tough. The first one provides a worthy first challenge if you're playing normally, but if you have everything from the start, he stands no chance, something I tested just for the hell of it. However, the further ones, even with everything, really test your skill, which is a show to just how difficult it can be. The game's respawn system is at least more forgiving, as you'll respawn where you started at in that same room. The same can't necessarily be said about the game's upgrade system. Sure, you'll find more weapons, which the arsenal isn't the largest, and stuff that'll let you get around more, but when it comes to your base health, what you have at the start is what you'll have at the end. So while the bosses get tougher, the only thing that will be ensuring your success is the improvement of your skills and tactics to combat each boss. So this isn't a bad game. I enjoyed it even though it was a tough game. It can just be kind of confusing to get the hang of or to find your way around, and it really provides a challenge. Either way, it's easy to see that the developers were very passionate about making this game, considering it started off as a passion project back in 2013, and even now they're still listening to community feedback and comments about the game. So if you want this game yourself, it'll be available on the eShop for $18. I'd like to thank Headup Games for sending me the review key. This is War Sarcy on the Game Clips channel, and I'm out.